Welcome to today's creation. I'm Kaven. Let's get started and see how I made this. These are the colours for today's pour. I'm using up some leftover paint from my last black hole experiment in which I used too much paint. Black, blue, cool red and purple. All of these are from the Eraldo di Paolo range, bought from Riot. This one here is the Mont Marte Supercell pouring paint, which I've been experimenting with, and I'm very pleased with the results actually. It's very good. Into each of my paints I've added a couple of drops, except for the black, of silicone oil from Mont Marte. My pouring medium today, 50% PVA, 25% water, 25% Floetrol. Let's get started and see what happens. I'm using the black and the pink as my pouring base today, just for a little bit of variety. Let's see what happens. I'm going to use this for my black hole today, except it's going to be a pink and black hole. It looks very pretty. I don't know how we're going to go with this one. I'm going to use this little piece of acetate to do the swipes. I definitely want to do some embellishing on this one, and I'm thinking maybe a stencil. We'll actually go this way up, but this black hole area is really quite a bit messy, so I'm thinking maybe a stencil over the top of it, just leaving some of the black to show. I've decided I'm going to do this stencil over the top of it, just over the top of that large black hole area. It will cover some of the edges, but that will be okay. I'm not quite sure what colour to do it in. I could mirror some of the colours that I've got happening in the painting, or I could do something completely different. I'm thinking I might try this colour blue and this purple, seeing as how they're the colours that seem to come in towards the middle. Maybe some gold as well. I'm going to use some masking tape just to tape it down on each side and hold the stencil firm. Masking tape won't hurt the painting, and it will come off nice and cleanly. There we go. I'm going to use these three colours. I've got ultraviolet, metallic ocean blue, and this one over here is a metallic gold. These are by Eraldo di Paolo, and this one here is by Mont Marte. I'm also going to be using this Holcroft Professional Gel Medium Gloss, and a small spatula. I'm going to put this on first, and this will give a really nice texture, and it will also help to stop the paint from creeping in under the edges of the stencil. And just very, very carefully and gently smear it across all the areas of the stencil. Now I have to work fairly quickly because this medium will set like glue if I let it start to dry, and I don't want it glued to my painting. Okay, it's been sitting there for a couple of minutes. So when you take a stencil off, just lift it very carefully from a corner and peel it back very gently. Just go slowly. And there we go. It's very pretty. I've got the gold coming down here into some of the gold, the purple mainly in the middle, and the blue is kind of up this end here. The stencils worked out really nicely. I can see that I've missed a couple of little points just over here. See how they're white? Just means that that is the gel medium, and I'll have to go and touch those up when it's dry. So when it's dry, you can actually, if you've had a bit too much paint or anything like that, you can fix that up, like in here. I've had a bit too much paint, so I could be able to fix that up with a little bit of black later on. But for the most part, the stencils worked out really nicely. Now it's important that you wash your stencil quite quickly, otherwise it will set like glue and it will be really hard to get off. These colours, they do look a little bit pale at the moment, but when they dry, they're going to go darker and they'll be more like the colours that you can see in the background painting here. While I'm waiting for my stencil to dry, I'm going to do a little bit of pen work with my Artistro paint marker, especially on some lines up here where the red is, make them a little bit more defined, I think. So this is what I'm doing, just adding some black definition where I think it might help a little bit. Some of these lines are a bit fuzzy and I just want to define them a little bit more. Just want to make them a bit crisper and sharper. So I've done some black line work just to make a few things a little bit more distinct and stand out a bit. I'll just turn it round. This side's got a bit of glare on it from the light. It's very subtle. You might be able to see just a few little lines that I've put in. I've really just tidied up a few edges and made a few things a lot crisper and clearer. So I'm going to let this dry now, and I'll bring you straight back. And here's the final result. The stencil shows up beautifully. I did use a little bit of these black pens here by Hue just to continue the darkness around the stencil so that it would really stand out. I've also used these metallic markers by Artistro and my Artistro paint pen just to add some of the finer details and highlight some of the things that I felt needed highlighting. So I'm really pleased with the way this has worked out now, and I'd love you to let me know what you think in the comments below. I just thought I'd take you close up and show you some of the details. I love the way this stencil just seems to be exploding, and all these lovely lines are coming out from it. It really, really stands out very well. I love the way it turned out.